Welcome back to the Culture Report. I'm Antonia Velez. We're at the peak of spooky season, and many of us might look to things like scary movies and haunted houses to stay in the Halloween spirit. But what if I said you could find some of the eeriest scenes just outside your doorstep? If you're in Denver, you could be living next to some notoriously haunted spots. Some of the city's neighborhoods are said to be packed with spooky history. That's exactly what companies like Twilight Ghost Tour want to show you. Here with me is owner Bill Bradshaw. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So give me a quick summary of what this tour is and why you came up with this idea.
Well, as far as me coming up with it, I have always been interested in history, and when I moved into the Capitol Hill neighborhood in 2011, I started doing research on those beautiful historic homes, and I realized just how incredibly haunted they were, and I started just digging deeper and deeper. And about 5 years later, I decided to start this tour company as a platform just to kind of share my knowledge and my enthusiasm about the area.
That's so fun. What are some of the most haunted spots in Denver? Where do you guys go?
Well, there are plenty of them. In fact, every house we stop at has some type of haunt. The most haunted areas in Denver, really, I would say the Croak-Patterson, the Peabody Whitehead Mansion, the Molly Brown house is very haunted, the Dunning-Benedict. And then not on our tour, we do this on another tour, the Oxford Hotel is haunted. So some of the places that you may visit and not even realize. So.
Oh, interesting. That's right around 9 News too. Some of those you mentioned, like pretty close by. It's kind of scary.
It's an old neighborhood. And unfortunately, a lot of people have passed away in those houses, so it does create a little bit of a residual effect in the house.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about like the histories behind some of these spots. Like, what are some of the most notoriously haunted places, and what's the lore behind them?
Well, I would say let's start with the Peabody Whitehead Mansion.
Okay.
It is really the most haunted dwelling in the city of Denver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was completed in 1889. A man by the name of William Riddick Whitehead built it, and he was a surgeon during the Civil War, and he also served in the Russian-Crimean War, so he saw a lot of carnage. By the time he moved into the house, he had already started kind of mentally separating himself from reality, right, and he was not doing well. And so there's a lot of haunts tied into him. They think some of the patients moved into the house with him, some of the patients that didn't make it. He had a maid working for him named Ella or Eloise, and she decided to take her own life at the house. The house has had so many different incidences of problems. And then the second owner, his name was James Peabody. He was our 13th governor. Also not a very popular governor. He was very hated. So between those two powerful men, there was a lot of stuff that happened, including 2 different suicides or took their own life. And then also another incident that happened that we probably shouldn't talk about on the air, but it's just something that you might be able to see if you watch the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, because it's been spotlighted.
Oh, these are featured on?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been featured on Zach Bagans' Ghost Adventures.
Oh wow, that's a popular.
Yeah. And then the Croak-Patterson, or otherwise known as the Patterson Inn, which is a boutique hotel, extremely haunted. 1891 is when it was built.
It's old.
It's old. And so they have had so many different things happen in that house, and it still goes on today, including 2 sets of Doberman Pinscher dogs that have jumped out of a window to their death.
Oh, man.
And let's see what else has happened. There has been reports of phone lines tied up endlessly, cribs with babies in them swinging back and forth wildly. Shadow people have been seen in the house. And then we had Mrs. Patterson who lived there. Mr. and Mrs. Patterson, they both died in the house as well. They call Mrs. Patterson the lady of the house.
The lady of the house.
She's also known as the lady in white. So she runs the house, and you see her all over the house.
So I'm sure you hear about these reports of people seeing these sights, you know, terrifying sights at that. But what are some of the things that you all have witnessed in the tours? Like, tell me a little bit about that, because I'm sure you've seen some crazy stuff.
We have seen all kinds of crazy stuff. It's really interesting. All of us as guides, we go out there knowing we're there to entertain people and to educate people and to, you know, be kind of moody and creepy. However, the experiences that we have on this tour are so impactful. We too get creeped out.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure.
It's very unsettling sometimes, the things that have happened, because we've captured orbs many times. Shadow people, fully formed apparitions, which I think we may be showing on the screen from time to time.
Yeah,
that right there is at the Dunning Benedict, and that lady was not on the tour.
Oh wow.
Did
you take this picture?
I did not. One of our guests took it, and you can see she looks like what looks like ectoplasm coming out of her mouth.
And what is that?
It's just like a fog that comes out of people's mouth. Mainly where they see it a lot is when they conduct seances. Back in the old days, they would take a picture of someone who was conducting the seance, and they would see this big fog coming out of their mouth, probably a release of the spirit. And that's what that is. And she has that. By the way, that was in the middle of August. It was probably 95 degrees, and she's wearing head to toe fur, vintage fur.
Wow.
So
that definitely was not a member of your tour.
Nope.
What about this one?
Yeah, this is actually at the Peabody Whitehead Mansion. If you notice, he has the same effect around his face, which his face is missing. So he's got that ectoplasm right around his face. And like I said, no face. He was not on the tour. This was a tour that I was on and was conducting. So I was standing in the back. Where he's standing is where I normally stand. Our customers don't stand there. And I immediately looked around to see if this person was on our tour, if there was someone dressed like that. So
well, that is just frightening.
That gave me chills.
Yeah, well, yeah, certainly. Well, that's pretty crazy, Bill. I'm sure a lot of people would love to join these tours and learn more about the history of Denver, maybe see something like that. And, you know, if you want to learn more, you can go to the Twilight Ghost Tour website, twilightghosttour.com. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.